Mike Perlack here to talk to you. I haven't done a video journal entry for a while. So I took a day off work this past week for the sole purpose of taking the 2-hour drive and driving to visit and watch a movie with my mother. It was awesome. I think I may do it again. It was like a break in the middle of the week, and yeah, de-stress a little bit. My ma has her share of health issues, and she's getting older, but they're all physical though, not mental. When it comes to mind, she's still there 100%. But I don't know. She may have 20 and a year left. I don't know. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be doing this. So, from going forward, I think I may just take a day off work just for that sole purpose. Take the 2-hour drive and go ahead and visit my mom. But blockade for the blockade. Well, it's not an issue anymore. I was ill prior week or a couple of days, but luckily I'm overall healthier these days because when I do catch an illness, it doesn't linger. So there's that. But yeah, blockade for the blockade. Well, blockade's done with now. The Iran regime caved as of yesterday, I think it was. But you don't even have to get religious. You don't even have to include God, religion, or is necessary. And Trump, with all his flaws, you got to just trust that Trump, the author of Art of the Deal, knows what he's doing. One big thing is he's pro-America instead of anti-America, which is obviously what the Biden administration was. Totally anti-America. Got to stop listening to elitists, Hollywood elitists, no more voting the way they say you should vote. Myself included, for years, we all did that. Well, if Tom Hanks says it is, who the hell is Tom Hanks, Unless you know him personally. Why the hell are you factoring in his political opinion when you go vote? Anyways, when I was visiting my mom, we ended up watching this flick. Good flick. Last time this would have been the second time watching it. This past week, watching it with my mother. Second time in my life watching it. When I watch these movies the first time, I usually kind of make notes. So this is the first time I watched this, I probably found this DVD at the Goodwill and brought it home and watched it. Maybe, give or take, 10 years ago. I don't know. At this point, I don't remember. But the notes I took was, it's like Limitless, but on a more grand and epic scale. Limitless was grounded to the world of business, economics, and politics. So yeah, I would say that Lucy and the movie Limitless, this one here, which I also have and bought, and I might have bought this one new though. This was back when I was on my spending spree. But this one here, they have a similar plot line, but Limitless. I used to say that Lucy is more like the female version of what it's about, and Limitless is more the male version. But that's not exactly accurate. I'd say Lucy is more ominous as far as the inner human mind goes, and that Limitless is more ominous in terms of the outer human mind. I'd say that's a better way to put it. But anyways, I already had the movie picked out for next time I go take the 2-hour drive and watch a movie with my mom. We're going to watch Limitless, which apparently, I forgot about this, but apparently Robert De Niro is in it. When we were watching the movie Lucy, I made the comment, my mom agreed, yeah, great actress. She probably should keep her politics to herself. But then that could be said about all of them. But anyways, so there's that. Now I just want to spend the rest of the video updating my health, I guess. For the last year, I'd say, yeah, well, probably a little longer than a year if I'm being honest, I've been fighting a losing battle. I've been trying to eat a hearty and productive breakfast and eat hearty throughout the day and then eat like a bird at night. I tried that for over a year. I don't think it's working. I want to go back to just eating like I naturally always did. Just like, apple or, a little bit of a potato in the morning or whatever. Light, really light in the morning, and then just having like a moderately hearty piece of meat at night so I can sleep. I want to go back to that. Since I started doing it again, I finally been getting that better sleep. The kind of sleep where you wake up and you stretch your toes out and you got some quality rest. But, and this pertains to my life, I guess, too. I started living with my mom when I was 13. At that point in my life, I was on my own, had to get myself up for school, all that stuff. I'd be lucky if I ate an apple first thing in the morning. But that whole, breakfast is breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And then and I'm sure a lot of you, thought that, that's something that doctors say. Okay, well, then I should follow that. No. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That was a sales pitch from Kellogg's back in, the 40s and 50s, whatever. That's all that was. It's a good example of how programmed we are by commercialism as human beings. And I'm not demonizing Kellogg's, matter of fact, if you eat Kellogg's cereal the way you're supposed to, a little cup first thing in the morning, it's not necessarily a bad idea to eat a bowl of some kind of Kellogg's cereal first thing in the morning. But a full course meal, which is what I was doing, enough. And I've been thinking a lot about that intermittent fasting thing, and it got me thinking. I've contemplated this before because I've had success with weight loss in the past. I love skim milk. I used to think, can I live on it? Can I just live on skim milk? Can I do it? And I think I could. I mean, I'd probably go through at least a gallon and a half, 2 gallons a day. But if it came down to it, I think I could keep my body physically content by just drinking skim milk. I think I could do it. And also, it would also help with the whole thing about I work 2 jobs. I don't have enough time during the day. It'd be convenient for me, especially now that I know I have a means of keeping milk cold on the go. I have a means of doing that for a whole 24 hours. Or that's a little misleading, not 24 hours, but at least 12 to 15 hours. So it's like, could I do it? Could I live on skim milk for just a month, just to get a jump start on the whole getting this gross fat off my body? Something I've learned about headaches due to starvation. Even though I was overweight, I was experiencing symptoms of starvation. But this actually pertains to the prior year. But this is basically what I've learned through trial and error. Is if you disregard a starvation headache for too long, when you finally do eat, it will come back up, especially if you try to make the headache go away with caffeine or an extreme amount of water over a long time span. I found it's actually better to, the better bet is to eat something solid, a piece of meat, non-processed, beef, chicken, fish, whatever, and then maybe slowly drink skim milk. I find that, and then it's still going to take the whole day for that starvation headache to go away. From what I found. I'm not a doctor, but this is what I've learned through trial and error. The only other thing I wanted to go on to some of the politics, some other things I wanted to talk about, and I don't want this to be too long, but one other thing is if I'm going to eat that piece of solid meat at night, chicken, fish, beef, whatever, it's got to be a pound or less of meat. So I'll sleep solidly and then wake up with that feeling like, toes stretching out and you actually had some quality sleep. So I don't enjoy life as much when I overeat. I mean, even something as simple as just sitting and watching a film, I can't really do and enjoy as much if I overeat. With working the way I do, not that I've had time to sit and watch a film, but that's why I've been doing what I've been doing with, but I'll work it out. But anyways, okay, last thing I don't want this to be too long, but we have the separation of church and state, right? I propose a new amendment to the Constitution in order for it to work for we the people who are not elitists. I recommend the separation of the entertainment industry and state. Yeah. Which we kind of already have that, but not with the federal government. And we also, our founding fathers, those evil white guys, they never intended for the federal government, the state maybe, but not the federal government, to make money off income tax. The federal government was never meant to tax us, working stiffs. That came later. They started out, called themselves the Federalists, and then they became the Democratic Party, and never mind, they founded the KKK and that. But no, they started that when they saw how can we get voters to, how can we suck up to voters and get them to vote for us. And now here we are, folks. This is the end results of years, hundreds of years of that. At least 100 years. All right, speaking of not having much time, I think that's about all I wanted to say. I was going to go further elaborate on that the Muslim Brotherhood video short I made and the what women want in society. They want a society of castratees, except for the man in their life, the man who is doing her bidding and making life convenient and and fun for her. So, any volunteers? That's one way to thin the herd. The guys will line up for that. That'll be one way to thin the herd. Now, men and women are different. Accept it. They say men see women as sex objects. Well, and I used to, for a long time, I used to feel bad about that, me being an evil man with my evil penis. But now, nope, because women see 90% of women, 99.9% of women see men as utility objects. Utility objects, nothing more. So it's okay that men see females and women as sex objects, because women see men. Majority of them see men as nothing but utility objects. All right, that's enough for now. Like Burlak. Thank you for your time.